Hey everybody, Ms. Ham here from American History 131. I wanted to take a few minutes and touch base with you guys. I have been really pleased about the first 4 weeks of this class. I have enjoyed seeing you guys grow and expand and challenge your thinking already this semester, and I'm really excited to see what this Unit 1 assessment is going to look like for each of you. I'm really excited to see your personality through this, your learning style, and your strengths as a learner. So as you begin looking through this presentation, there are going to be 4 different things that you are going to want to look at. The first thing is your driving question. Okay, so this is going to be the question that this whole unit assessment is going to be about. You'll have an opportunity to select which piece of learning evidence you are going to showcase. You will have an opportunity to select the lens of history that you are going to focus on. And then here's some special directions to help you through along the way. Please remember that after each unit, you will have a unit assessment. So throughout this course, there is a total of 3 unit assessments and then 1 final assessment that will be a paper at the end of this course. So as we are wrapping up Unit 1, which is chapters 1 through 4, we're going to go ahead and complete this unit assessment. Now, the purpose of this unit assessment is to demonstrate your ability to state your perspective through the citation of factual evidence. The assessment is not necessarily looking at the correct answer or the correct historical event, but rather your ability to defend your perspective using applicable historical sources. So using your discussion board post from Unit 1, you are going to justify which example of conflict and compromise you believe has contributed the most to the development of American society. Again, the driving question for our entire class, as well as for this unit assessment 1, is how have conflict and compromise contributed to the development of political, socioeconomic, and cultural aspects of American society? It's really important to remember when you're looking at this driving question and as you're looking at pieces of evidence to support, you want to make sure that you are using both primary sources and secondary sources in order to support your answers, your ideas, and your perspectives in regards to this driving question. This first unit assessment is going to be unique as you are going to be able to choose how you want to showcase your learning evidence. This time, as well as any of the other unit assessments that you will have the option to select one of these 3 options. Okay, so you may choose to select a paper. You may write a paper for this unit assessment. You may create a podcast, or you may create a visual presentation. Now, something to keep in mind as you're moving throughout this class, I don't care if you write me 3 papers throughout the semester. I don't care if you do a paper and 2 presentations. Whatever works for you is fine with me. So again, this is really where I want to see who you are as a learner, what are your strengths, and then which platform is going to allow you to best share your knowledge, okay? All of these are hyperlinked for you, so you can go in and click, and it's going to tell you a little bit more. So if you are writing a paper, you are going to be writing a reflection paper using 1,000 words or more to articulate your response to the driving question. Okay, this should be in MLA format. MLA format is double-spaced, 12-point font, and Times New Roman. You're going to want to make sure that you have reviewed this video about reflective writing and thinking. And then if you click here, you're going to be able to review the rubric for this assessment. This is going to be the first tab on the sheet that is shared. Throughout this, you might also choose to record a podcast. And if you are going to record a podcast, it needs to be at least 8 minutes or more. Again, you're going to include the processes of reflective thinking in your planning and in your speaking. This is the video for you to watch to really learn more about what reflective thinking and writing is. Here is the link to access specifics of creating a podcast, and here is the podcast outline as well as the rubric that you might need. Okay, and then option number 3 is a presentation. You must have at least 16 slides if you choose to create this presentation. Again, this should be highlighting those key points of reflective thinking, as well as your answer to the driving question of how have conflict and compromise contributed to the development of American society. Okay, so again, you may choose which one of these 3 pieces or types of learning evidence you would like to select. Again, it does not matter to me. Whatever works best for you is fine. Now, as we move into the next piece, we're going to be focusing on the lens of history. We've talked about the lens of history multiple times throughout our discussion boards, but I want to take just a second and make sure that everybody's on the same page. If I ask you to take a picture of the Grand Canyon, it depends on which lens you use, depends on which perspective of the Grand Canyon you're going to see. If you use a wide lens, you're going to see the wide picture. If you use a lens that's going to help you focus, you're going to see the small picture, okay? If I ask you to take a picture of something and the lens is tinted red, the color red is what your image is going to show. So what I'm asking you to do with the lens of history is you are going to tell me through the lens of history how conflict and compromise affected American development throughout the time frame that we are studying, okay? So your lens of history is going to be focusing on culture, politics, and socioeconomics. With this Unit 1 assessment, you may choose which lens of history you would like to focus on. So if you have you've read these 4 chapters, you've engaged in the work, you've done the discussion boards, and you think that this unit really focuses on the political development, then I want you to choose to write about the political development or create your learning evidence on the political development. If you think it's cultural, I want you to focus on cultural. It is important to know that with your 3 unit assessments, you will be required to focus on all 3. So Unit 1 can be political, Unit 2 might be socioeconomic, and Unit 3 might be cultural. Or Unit 1, you might choose to do cultural, Unit 2, you do political, Unit 3, you do socioeconomic. I don't care which order you do them in, but you will be required to do all 3 of these throughout your unit assessments. As you're also working into creating your learning evidence, I want to remind you that this course was designed with you in mind, okay? I do not want you to do 4 times the work because you're working on an assessment. Instead, I want you to focus specifically on working smarter, not harder. Use the resources that you have to supplement, look in different directions, and really truly analyze and evaluate your thinking. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm here to support you guys along the way. Thanks.